Hey, welcome back to Disco Elysium, where we are looking for Ruby, and we need to go further up the coast apparently to try to find her. Before we do that, it's day 4. I'm thinking I'm a little worried about time, so we do need to press on. But I do want to also do the. If we go like further this way, there's that church to try to clean out and maybe set up a thing in there, but a nightclub in there. No drugs, just a nightclub. But we did get a new windbreaker, which gives us more pain threshold and more half light. So, I don't love the look of it. I really am a fan of the patrol jacket. The naval coat is not bad, but this gives me both Esprit de Corps and Shivers, both of which I like. And actually hold it though. There's something I think. Yeah, these glasses hurt my logic a little bit. I like having some logic. I don't care a whole lot about authority, but actually, I want to see if there's anything else in this room really quick before we go further. So anything else we might see? We looked at this already. That's the mirror. So I can't stop that expression. I can't sleep now. It's not sleeping time. So I don't see anything else. There's also the shaving option, which I don't want to do. And that seems to be it. So there was a suggestion that maybe I missed something. Maybe if I up my perception a bit. It's currently at +1. Yeah, none of these give me any more perception. Oh, the other thing I might... thinking I might just try see what happens if I put the flashlight in my hand. That's tools. So drop. Where's my flashlight? There it is. Let's put it for a minute instead of that. Doesn't seem to really expose anything new. So okay. Yep, nothing here. Nothing here. All right. There's Kim. I was like, where'd Kim go? But he is just standing under there. So, yeah, the next thing is I want to follow the suggestion that some part of my brain gave me. I don't know which part it was. To head... Oh, wait a minute. What's this? Anyway, I was going to say to head up and check out that mural again. Look at it more closely. Ooh. A primer for small kids. I mean... So we interact with this. You hold in your hand the color of a primer. The title reads a primer for small kids. There's a bear involved. Exactly what I need. This book will show you the score, get you oriented with those basic concepts you appear to be hazy on. The anthropomorphic bear will give you the lowdown of your life. On what? The alphabet. Flip through the pages. Every page has one word designating one letter of the alphabet with a faded illustration. Most of them are scientific and cultural principles as follows. Put the book away for a minute. I'm going to up my encyclopedia first in case the way it works, which maybe it doesn't do this, but it might be that what happens is something gives me encyclopedia, right? When I hit something that like I might not know, the encyclopedia can come. There it is, +2 to encyclopedia with those glasses. Little less perception, but hey, it looks good. And I'll switch them back on afterwards. So for the pages, let's do this. A is for azimuth, B is for Boreas, C is for cosine, D is for diamat, E is for ellipse, F is for phlogiston, G is for gamut. H is for homeboy, I is for Ilcon, J is for Jura, K is for collapse, L is for laudanum, M is for myriad, N is for nadir, O is for aureola, P is for perhelion. Yeah. Q is for quasar, R is for rhododendron, S is for sinus, T for tricolore, U is for ultra, V is for vector, W is for varheit, X is for xylophone, it's always for xylophone, Y is for Gustava, Z is for zenith. That's it? That's it. You know the alphabet now. in what is called the IL, the international language developed by scientists from Grad in the 20s. Sinus means sign, for example. Kim, I know the alphabet now. Good, I also know the alphabet. It's a very useful skill to have, he thinks, for all sorts of life activities like reading and so on. So we'll put the book away. All right, that was less interesting than I thought it was going to be, but nonetheless, let's get our logic back. And the snow is really falling down now, like seriously. But let's see, I forget. Yeah, it's a little tricky getting across exactly. What's this? The beams are splintered. The bridge didn't collapse on his own. Artillery broke it. Wait, can I get up here somehow? I've been up here before. This is what I want to come look at. And there's a dude there that I think wasn't there before. Let's talk to him first.
And Mikhail, notice the windows, especially with how there are no windows on the south side. This was to deal with.
A blonde man stands next to his son, pointing to the weather-worn ruins. He sees you approaching and smiles.
You, officers, come to investigate the historic subtext of West Martinaise. I'm Trant Heidelstadt. You must be Kim Kitsuragi, right? I was just telling my son about this building. Not a lot of people realize the historic significance here. Very rich in hypertext.
How does he know Kim?
Nice to meet you.
The lieutenant nods. Hold on. Hypertext?
Yes, hypertext. Jan Karp and the collection of cultural hyperlinks.
He says it as if it's self-evident. What was that about the windows before?
Oh, yes. So, Mikhail, they had to deal with monitor glare, especially in the summer. They still had vector monitors back then. That was 49 years ago, so they didn't have windows on the south wall.
The sun is in the south here? Okay. So you and Kim know each other?
No, I can't say that we've met before, but I've heard of Kim, of course. Mikhail, say hi to the officers.
He rests his hand on the boy's shoulder. The child stays hidden behind the hem of his father's coat, clutching to his worm-themed coloring book.
Mikhail's a little tired today. We spent all night trying to run Orbis on his radio computer. Have you heard of it? It's a programming language used in Grad. Quite tricky, but he wanted to play this Grad-made adventure program. We've been getting really into worms lately.
Oh, worms is how you're saying it. The man speaks in the artificial cadence of a professor, or someone who's been on too many radio shows.
But I assume you're not here for giant worms, when there are so many real things to see. Just as I was telling Mikhail before, this is where the Coalition landed in '08. We could be standing on what is the most interesting landmark in Revachol West.
He points to the building again. This man is your half-brother. You feel it, but why? So like he's a cop. Wow, get a load of this guy. He really enjoys his trivia. The Orbis programming language was named after its inventor, Victor Orbis, a cybernetician from Grad. They ran Vox in the Occidental countries. What's so fascinating about an empty old building? Aha, but it's not just any empty old building. He raised his hand to his eyes to shield himself from the freezing snow. All four of you turned to admire the mural before you. What not a lot of people know, this used to be the R&D department of Feld Electrical, and Feld, which now sells ink cartridges mostly, was once a top dog in the turn-of-the-century cybernetics boom. Hold on, what's R&D? Look at the building looming over you. It looks old and weathered, with seagulls picking apart its stone and metal carcass. Bushy undergrowth has taken a hold of the collapsed rooftop. Some kind of bird has set up a nest on a broken windowsill. Wait, what's an R&D department? Apologies, it's an acronym for research and development. They don't use it anymore. He smiles brightly, laugh lines around his eyes. You are probably more familiar with RTD, research and technological development. Mea culpa. You were not familiar with that one either. This man is a bookhead. I don't think I've ever heard of this Feld Electrical. That's not surprising. Only a vestigial ink cartridge and ferrotape manufacturer remains. He adjusts his suit jacket. They started out as a midway electronics outfit in Königstein 2 centuries ago. After an aggressive move to Revachol, Feld became a global player in the emerging personal electronics market of the pre-revolutionary era. Still, Tricentennial was beating them in business machines. He gestures towards the building. But Feld had an ace up their sleeve. Or should I say, they were developing an ace up their sleeve. He grins. I'm mixing my metaphors here. What was that, Ace? It was here in Martinez, possibly in this very building, that they developed prototypes for a, he pauses for effect, tape computer. A tape computer? Mm-hmm. An elegant folding mechanism of rollers and ferrotape ribbons, portable enough to be a take-it-home solution, revolutionizing business machines, possibly even bringing them to the average consumer. Which is a feat of engineering even today's giants Ream, ICN, and ZAM haven't achieved yet. He grins, admiring the sentence he just produced. What happened? Indeed, what? The revolution? The boy wipes his nose on his sleeve. Trant nods. Unfortunately, their moonshot project never made it to the market. Feld's move to Revachol backfired. The revolutionary government liquefied their assets and expropriated those very advanced prototypes, possibly from this very building, or one of the adjacent ruins. He pauses, pointing to the other building, then continues. All of this was built by Feld, even the boardwalk. While Pines built Martinez proper as a resort for their middle management, Feld built this side of town for R&D. You're saying that Feld Electrical built this boardwalk? Yes, they even built a pleasure wheel, but that got destroyed in the war. A pleasure wheel? The lieutenant looks wistfully at the horizon, as if picturing gondolas rising to the sky. Perhaps reminded of a childhood memory, it's clear he would prefer there were a big wheel lighting up the coast. Yes, to lure in their star engineers. This part of Martinez was nothing but reeds before Feld arrived. They had to make the prospect of living here attractive. It was supposed to become a global center for innovation in cybernetics, but history had other plans. What happened to the engineers, the company people? Oh, I'm afraid it didn't end well for the boys. He smiles again as if he's somehow personally responsible for this bleak turn of events. But this story is a bit too dark for little Mikhail here. Now, if you were to ask about tape computers, he means that the boys got shot by communists. The boys were bourgeois. Yeah, I'm not going to turn to Mikhail and say what it was. So I'm going to say tape computers, right. Tape computers. He nods when tousling his suit jacket. What do the revolutionaries do with those advanced tape computers? They use them for military communications, he says, while his son looks up, idly chewing on the corner of his worm-thunk-themed coloring book, but also to write and send out press releases, the most notorious example being Les Décrets de Mars. What was that? What's the March Decree? I mean the radio transmission sent out to news agencies and world governments by the newly created Commune of Revachol on the 7th of March in the year 02. A short-lived legislative foundation for a short-lived utopia. Yeah, utopia where everyone gets shot. It's a beautiful piece of text, actually. A singer-songwriter I know, Charlotte, called it a love poem to Revachol on her political concept album, Bons Baisers d'Insolende. You should read it. Every local library in Revachol stocks a copy of the decree. I tried to get Mikhail to memorize it. He looks at his son, who starts giggling, his face hidden behind the book. Tried to. Someone was way much too interested in worms to be paying any attention. The kid takes a peek at the green and silver worm on the cover on the book, already forgetting about this part of the discussion. How do those tape computers work? Do they work like radio computers? Actually, no one knows. No one even knows what a computer made entirely of tape would look like. But word has it they were very elegant, exquisite, alien-looking turn-of-the-century hardware. He raises his finger, remembering something. Buckle up. 10 years ago, I did a little freelancing, I guess you could say. I was a special consultant for an exhibition at the Wumpty Dumpty Dom Center in Vredfort, Oranje. It raised the same questions, and we had lengthy discussions with Paul Ackerman, who was head curator at the time. This was before the twins Keith and Guy Joost joined the team, trying to... Wait, did he just say Wumpty Dumpty Dom Center? He did! He did say it! He said Wumpty Dumpty Dom Center. It's like the most natural thing in the world. What the hell is a Wumpty Dumpty Dom Center? And who the hell are Keith and Guy Jost? I don't think I even want to know. All right, back to tape computers, I think. Yes, tape computers and Feld Electrical. Let's ask something else. But of course, what else? I'm looking for a suspect. Have you seen anyone suspicious around? No, I'm afraid I can't help you with this one, officer. It's just a regular day off for me and Mikhail here. He pats his son's head. So you haven't seen anyone around? No, I'm sorry. As I said, this is just a day off. We've just arrived anyway. There's something friendly and familiar in how he says that, a day off. He's telling the truth. He hasn't seen anyone. Great, thank you for all the interesting information. No, thanks to you for your having me and little Mikhail here to pick your brain. A very interesting conversation, indeed. Pick your brain? If anything, this was rather one-sided. He did the talking. Whatever. All right, let's check out this sign again. You see a once bright mural towering above you. The signage has peeled off over the years, but you can still make out Felt Electrical R&D. A slogan used to intertwine with the loops a long time ago. Now it's only a shadow of peeled letters remains. It says tomorrow is just a whisper away. Step closer. Above the mural, a collapsed roof, broken windows set in walls that are cracking and will soon also fall, and the coastal breeze rustling and sighing in the remains of the edifice. Felt Electrical. How ironic, all those dark rooms. Felt Electrical, you only know them as a small company that makes ink cartridges. Looks like they used to be big. There's something in the wind. Sometimes the only way to go forward is to fail first. Why do I feel like I know this place? Indeed, somehow you knew it was here. An urban ruin gutted by looters that once used to consume money and dispense warmth and light. Could Ruby be in there? In there? She could, or... He points behind you. She could be in the identical ruin over there, or in that bochak, in that church tower maybe. Why single out this one building? Okay. I gotta get my shivers game way up if I want to have a chance at this. I'm at +1 right now. Alright, this t-shirt gives me a little more. Okay, well that's all I'm gonna get. Oh my gosh. I mean, yeah, alright. Listen to the wind. It's a mere... Oh, it's a white check though, but it is a mere 3%. Of course I failed. Suddenly all is quiet. There's no cold hand brushing against your forehead, no rustle in the reeds. The wind has died down or gone behind a corner. You only hear distant waves washing the coast. The ruin in front of you is silent as a tomb. What was I even attempting to do here? Trying to talk to the wind, the city? Whatever you thought would happen did not, and now you're just standing there with your hands fallen to your side. Is trying to talk to the city something you've done before? Is it in your secret repertoire? A trick for when you're out of ideas? A prayer of sorts to Revachol? She could be anywhere. How do we find her, Lieutenant? How do we? I was really hoping she'd be in the village. Lieutenant sighs, gets a hold of himself. Okay. She's probably north of the village, and this place is a peninsula. We've already talked to the cryptozoologists. He looks to his right. Working with them might give us a good excuse to run around, give us some structure. And then there's the church. He looks at the bell tower. If I were a murder suspect, I would not hide in the most prominent building here, but who knows? Maybe she's reckless. Or spiritual? She could be looking for refuge. Anyway, we do it the old-fashioned way, sector by sector. Go over the whole peninsula, ask the locals, enter the places where we can enter first, like we did in the village. And if that fails, then, if we're desperate, we look where we can't enter. Bunkers, storm drainage, this place. I'm sure it won't come to that. Looks behind him as a dark red box crumbling across the chasm. Walk the coast, the old boardwalk, the reeds. You can always come back here and talk to the wind again. Look where it already got you. An adventure awaits, an adventure on the windswept Turban Coast. Wait, I say Turban Coast? I'm pretty sure urban is what was meant. Can we get in the twin building over here? Is one question. Is there any way up? I can see the door. No? If I go around this way, can I get in? There's this little shack. No boat in the boathouse today. This section of the coast hasn't been used in decades. Some morale and some savor fare, but down to the visual calculus. More perception wouldn't go amiss. A little bit of money, little real. What do we got over here? Ancient paint is peeling off the roof of this shaded bench covered in rust. Another mural? A scattering of bullet holes is spread across the cracked wall, reaching from one corner to the other. All right, we're going to want some visual calculus for this, which I have ways of upping that. Okay, I kind of want to put my conceptualization shirt back on as well, and maybe back to my Esprit de Corps plus Shivers. Wait a minute. Wasn't it Shivers what I needed for that check back there? How did I switch? I switched it out for... Huh. Well, never mind. I'm just gonna do things. Actually, before I do it, what else do I got going on down here? There's this, an old ticket taker booth, no longer in operation. And the sign says, Entrée Interrogate. People pay money to park here. No one would pay now. There's this stuff over here. I'm going to come back to that thing in a minute. All right, money and a tear. We've got ourselves some more empty bottles. Oh, hold it. Should sell these one of these days too. Some cash on the ground. And a front door probably locked. It's not only barred shut, it's inaccessible. So my my wrench isn't going to help me. Is that a hat that gives me extra logic? I think I like that idea of a logic hat. Looks pretty good too, especially with these glasses. All right. A door, a building, a hiding place. Could the instigator be inside? There's no way the perp is in here, officer. Look how scarred the boards are. All attempts to pry them off has failed. Can I try to get in, though? Not this time. The opposition is insurmountable. I like the spirit. Have some points. It's lonely and cold without points. Ah, thanks, physical instrument. And dangerous. Dangerous, too. Kim, you think she's in there? The suspect? God, I hope not. I can't see a way in. He inspects the bars, though many have tried. All right, nothing more to do here then. So it's back around to this, whatever this is here. Look, Kim, even more bullet holes. Something has definitely gone down here. Correct. The lieutenant examines the wall closely. The density of the bullet holes is unusual, even in a general average bullet hole frequency in Martinez sense. Grim affairs. Meaning this is a lot of bullet holes. He brushes the wall with his hand. Looks like fully automatic rifle fire, something you don't see these days. Why not? The manufacturing and sale of automatic rifles was curtailed after the revolution. The destructive power of such tools proved to be too much. We do need to retain some humanity in this world. All right, visual calculus. All right, why so many bullet holes? Unable to piece together the big picture just now as a hole in the hypothesis. All right, fine, okay. This scattering of bullet holes like one giant smiling mouth, smiling its deadly smile. So I have 2 points. I could up my visual calculus, which is, I really like this, like visual calculus anyway. I'm going to try it a second time. There we go. A row of ghostly shades stand facing the wall. There are many of them, a dozen at least, their heads lowered and eyes blindfolded. It's quiet. No sound, no movement. 10 meters away, other shades are lined up in an orderly manner, automatic rifles primed. A gust of wind blows by. The coats of the firing squad flap slowly in the breeze. A single person stands on the side. The sun blazes high up in the sky, baking the planks, the sand, your skin. The order was carried out in the afternoon. A long time has passed since the moment of this full sighting. Rain and brine have since washed all the blood away. Not a trace remains. What is this? The abundance of bullet holes leads to two options. Either an inordinate amount of executions are performed here, or they did not use a conscience round where only one soldier has the loaded rifle. Looks like this was a mass execution with everyone fully armed. Look at the people against the wall. A host of men, and probably in everyday clothes, ragged from the conflict and covered in dust. They were not sitting, a common practice for executions in some nations, as demonstrated by the height level of the bullet holes. They stand facing the wall. It's impossible to discern any details about their personality or background. Ordinary people, familiar each and every one of them. Who were they? Collateral damage on the path towards normalcy and progress, such as your belief, officer. Maybe you should change it. They were praying, screaming. Look at the line of soldiers. 7 men in combat uniforms and dark coats, holding automatic rifles aimed at the people. Soldiers from some side, but from which one? Look at the person standing on the side. The commandant, the one who gave the order. Machine gun fire crackling through the air, the lights of the muzzle flashes dancing on his face. Kim, who was in this execution? At first, the lieutenant doesn't say a word. He just stares at the wall. I don't know, he says finally. I don't know who died here, lined up beside that horrible wall. It could have been any of the parties involved in the revolution. Perhaps the ones executed here were the loyalist conservatives, killed by the communists at the start of the Civil War. Or it could have been the communists put to death during the last stretch of the conflict by the coalition forces. Remember what Trant Hedelstem about Feld. What if it was the Feld personnel when their assets were being seized by the revolutionaries? The lieutenant nods. Another likely scenario. Or maybe... You mentioned coalition forces. Could it have been them against the wall? Yeah. It's very unlikely the coalition forces were the ones who died here. They were always the last ones against the wall. To be honest, if a coalition member was anyone in this situation, it was the commandant, the superior, giving the orders. All right. Well, that's it for here. I'm actually kind of curious if having passed that check will give us another try at the wall. And I can't remember if it was shivers or what that was, but let's just... I think I put maybe... Well, let's just see what it was. I might have screwed that up a few minutes ago, but... Yeah, it is shivers. But I do get another chance because I reconstructed the execution. And I did not have all of my pluses to shivers on, I think. Okay, I guess this is as good as it's going to get. It's always at 3%, huh? Well, if I can get double sixes... Ouch. Listen to the wind, but for what? Ruby whistling? The crackle of her bonfire? Some errant whisper or a dog barking? Shake off the feeling. And leave. Interesting. I got to autosave that time. Maybe I did last time too and didn't notice it. So we need to walk the boardwalk. I wonder if, like last time we walked the boardwalk... Well, first of all, oh, interesting. It is possible to get in there. In principle, because there's stairs there. Like, they bothered to make the stairs. So, anyway, I'm pretty sure this is, in fact, the boardwalk. Consult the wind if you don't know what to do. Other than that, keep searching the coast, which is what I'm doing. Confront the pigs. Get your gun back. I have to do that in the evening. I have a report back. Right, this stuff is all about the... So Land's End, Boardwalk, and Island for bullet traces. So now I'm looking for Ruby and also for bullet traces. And I just don't know if there's something I will interact with, and it'll be like, there you go, those are your bullet traces. Like, that's what you would expect to find them, and there's none here, or what? Like, I just find that a little puzzling. Oh, what's this? Wait, is this the church? I think this might be the church. So I read St. Brune, 1147. Oh, thought. You feel the shadow of a very large building fall on you. Yes, it is a very large building. Dusty pews in the shadows. Many seem to be missing. This is indeed the church. An altar shrouded in darkness or something like that. It's too dark to tell. All right. Well... I'm thinking this is a good place to take a break. Next time, we are going to rush back into this church and find out what is going on in there. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you soon.